What's up, guys? Today we're playing Epic 7, and today we're on a subscriber account, Snow Me the Way. Now, this is the last video for our Nightmare bosses. Today we're doing Nightmare Queen. Hopefully, if I have the right units and I have the right stats, honestly, it's probably going to be RNG Fest, so we're going to see how it goes, but I'm hoping that we are able to beat this boss and get some equipment. Here we go with the units we're using today for Nightmare Queen. And first up, we have Angel of Light Angelica. She's amazing for PvP. Whatever build you have is going to work just fine. If you don't have one built, try and build her at 105 effectiveness to give you the max chance to land your debuffs and to remove the boss's buffs. After that, it's just going to be defense, health, and some speed. Now, this is a PvP build, so if you have one laying around, I think she'll work. She's not very bulky, she's not super fast, and she has way more effectiveness than you need, but she's going to work out just fine. I even have her onto an XP artifact because I'm farming one of the side stories before the collab. So I think having her onto Spirit's Breath is the best, but whatever artifact you normally use, it's really not going to make too much difference, and she's going to work out for you barefoot meta. Now we come to Azaria. I really want to use something like Last Rider Crow here because he brings in a shield, he brings in something like immunity, and he also brings in damage, and he brings in an Aureus, but we don't have him. So we're going to use the green Azaria, pretty much no requirements. Try and build her up to 105 effectiveness. I have her at 97, and she'll work out just fine. And then anything into speed and into health and defense will be good. Now, you do want to have one hero faster than your Tamarin. So you can make her faster, or you can make your Angel of Light faster, but go for a 11 speed or greater difference. That way she can trigger the Queen on the very first turn, and she can let your Tamarin then use her S3 to remove all the buffs and cycle you out of that craziness that happens. And speaking of Tamarin, here we go with our Tamarin. What we want is 105 effectiveness. If you can, 200% effect resist will help you to avoid some of the RNG, because sometimes you can get hit with that 3-turn silence, which is just devastating. If you don't have a knight, it's basically a death sentence. You have to start all over. This Tamarin, she's not too special, but she's going to work out just fine, and we're not using her in PvP, so she's great. I have her on to Rod of Amaryllis. This is going to help you out with a lot of healing. Any artifact that can help her cycle faster or do more healing is going to be good for you here. And then next, we're going to go into one other hero. Who is it? We're going to go into Aiden. This Aiden's actually pretty good. She's a damage Aiden. You can run your Aiden at 260 speed, or you can run her down closer like this, around about 180 to 200 with a much higher damage. This is how I prefer to run her. So she is at 4k attack. She's at 193 speed, 100 crit chance, and 337 crit damage on her own artifact. The ads are going to take more damage from a light-based hero, so that's what I'm using her for. I'm using her to smack the queen as hard as I possibly can, and to kill the ads as fast as I can. So in this fight, I'm going to kill all the ads first, then trigger the queen, then go into the next phase, and Savior Aiden, she does just so much damage that it's super nice to have her. Now, if you run her in PvP, you can probably do the same thing. Having a very fast Aiden, like a 260 Aiden, might not be the best. It might take a little bit longer because you're not hitting the ads and the queen as hard, but it'll probably still work, and she's going to be just fine. Here we go, Nightmare Queen. She is such a pain. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to bring someone along that's at least 11 speed faster than Tamarin. We want them to hit the boss. Just use an S1. They don't have to actually do any kind of move. Tamarin's going to use her S number 3. This is going to break out all of those debuffs and also increase your combat readiness. Now, if you're teleporting in, you can bring your Azaria to be the fastest unit. She'll reset Tamarin, and then you're good to go. If you're not using Azaria, that's okay. You'll have to cycle a few times, but you should be fine as long as you don't get that 3-turn silence. Now, what we're going to do here is we are going to bring in Angel of Light and also Green Azaria. Their only job is to remove buffs and then also apply Unbuffable. Aiden as well has Unbuffable, which is very nice because she can help out a little bit. Even though it's only one turn, you can Soul Burn it for that extra turn. Now you need to have a 105 effectiveness to have the maximum chance of landing all your debuffs and removing the buffs on the boss. When we hit the ads, that's going to damage the queen because she has kind of an Aureus effect, right? She takes some of the damage for all of her little bee minions, which is, I guess, great. But what we want to do is kill the ads using this team. If you're using a control team, you can control the ads, and that's good. But if you're using an Aiden team, we don't want to take a lot of damage in the next phase, so we're going to have to kill them. Now, what I like to do is I like to damage the queen down until she's about 60 or 70%, enough to take a couple of hits from an Aiden S2. Then I'm going to kill the ads. That's going to take the boss below 50%. It's not going to trigger as long as you don't use an actual move to hit the boss. She's not going to trigger the next phase. Aiden is so good here because she does so much damage against these little ads. It is actually pretty amazing. I like that we have Unbuffable up most of the time. And we're going to use a Tamarin S3 twice, maybe even 3 times, but do not cycle past your S3 availability before you trigger the next phase. She is going to hit everyone, put them back into their weird, funky state, and you need Tamarin to break them out. So we want to make sure that she has her S3 available on the next turn. Now, the good news is here that we have Azaria who can reset our Tamarin if need be, but just keep an eye on it. Don't use that S3 unless you really need to. Try and cycle using your S2 for healing, and then you can also Soul Burn that S1 to give you even more healing. Angel of Light, man, she works so good. Mine has like a ton of effectiveness. I mean, it's not like crazy whale ton, but it's a lot. And she still gets resisted. That 15% chance to resist anything, this is going to apply in this fight. So, I mean, unfortunately, sometimes you're going to get resisted. And it's nice that we have multiple chances to remove those buffs. We have Tamarin who can S1 to remove them. We have Azaria who can S3. Then we also have the Angel of Light who can S3. And we have 3 sources of our Unbuffable as well, including our Aiden. Now that the ads are dead, now it's time to kind of decide what we're going to do, right? We need to have that Tamarin S3. So plan it out. When it's the hero before Tamarin's turn, you can cycle, hit the boss, then Tamarin is going to get that next turn, break everyone out, and everything is good. If you can skip a whole turn from the queen, that'll be good as well. That way you go into it with full HP. Now we see that when the queen goes, she's going to remove buffs. So we don't want to apply like a invincibility from our Aiden. We don't want to apply a bunch of buffs like speed or attack buff or anything like that. It's just going to get removed. This is actually working out pretty good because Tamarin is able to use her S number 3 right away without the boss getting a bunch of turns in. You can see we have a bunch of souls here as well. We don't want to use them onto a Archie because it does almost no damage to the queen. It's like 5,000 or some ridiculous amount, so don't worry about that. If you have some heroes that you want to soul burn, like landing a defense break, or landing a key unbuffable, or using healing, do that instead. It's going to have much more utility. I will say here as well, there's no point in killing these ads. Best just to control them, because once you kill them, they get stunned, they come back next turn, and it's really not worth it. What we're using them for is when the queen has buffs. We don't want to hit her, because then she's going to trigger the counterattack from her ads. So at that point, if she has any kind of buff at all, that's when we just want to do an S1 into the ads until the next time we're able to attack her. if you have a Spectre Tenebria, you can hit the queen at any point with her S1 because she will not trigger that counter attack. Now, oddly, I used an S3 onto Spectre Tenebria and it does trigger the counter, so I don't know why that is, but whatever. Getting pretty low on health here. This is really good where we have Tamarin onto her S number 2 or S1 Soulburn, just in case we need it, just in case it's an off cycle and we really need to land some key healing. We do have an S3, so that's okay. Aiden, so much damage, so nice to see. Now, one thing to keep in mind is once we get this boss to dead, okay, 0 HP, she is going to, I don't know, eat her ads, and then and then she's going to hit everyone with a bunch of burns. It's really just a troll move by Smilegate. They want you to survive this last little bit. So having a Tamarin S3 is going to save you. You can also soul burn again on the S1 to try and get more healing, but best thing is to have that S3 available. Now from here, you really don't have to do anything. All we have to do is survive. You can't kill her. You can't do anything about it. She stares at you. You stare at her. There's no more bleeds, but we have to go through the motion. And there she goes, and it's Aiden's turn, so let's go ahead and pop it off in style. All right, let's take a look at our map. So I did have to walk there again, and that's cool. And you know what? You can keep going. There is a mini boss here and a mini boss here. I don't have time today, so I was not able to accomplish that. Still, we get 7 of the sap covered items, and let's see what we get from those. Last boss, Queen, man, she gave me so much trouble. It was terrible. Here we go. Defense, effect resist, and health. That's going to be a no dog. If this were HP percent, I think that would be good, but not going to work for me. Now we have a rage piece with no crit chance. That's going to be a no as well. This one is a flat defense ring, automatic no. And now we have health, speed, effect resist, effectiveness on an equipment score 37. Gotta do that one. Gotta do it right now. Let's go. Now, as I'm looking at this piece, there's so many good things. I want to get at least 2 rolls into health or triple roll speed, and then 1 to go into effective resist. Now, of course, that means I'm gonna get effectiveness, so guaranteed, as long as we don't get more than two, as long as we don't get more than 2 rolls, but at least we get a max roll. At least we get a max roll. And a almost max into effect resist. I like this. There are some heroes, including that Tamarin, who could really benefit from a weapon like this because we're going to be able to get that 105 effectiveness along with a bunch of effect resist, try and get up to that 200 mark. Now this is good enough that we're going to take it all the way up, and I don't have quite enough of that, so let's just go all the way with charms. And wow, 31. That's amazing. I want to get a 90 plus for level 85 reforged material or reforged item on level 88. That same goal, I want 90 plus as if it were reforged, right? That's my goal. At this level right here, pretty darn good rolls. We get a 97. If you can get all of your equipment into 100, it's gonna be some pretty epic builds. That Nightmare Queen, such a pain, ended up being the hardest Nightmare boss on this account. On my other accounts, she was a lot easier, but on this one, just so difficult to find a team. Took me at least 10 different combinations, but once I found this combination, now I've been able to use it 2, 3 times. no problem. If you have a Last Rider crowd, definitely bring him in. He's going to make this fight much easier. You can also use the Bibulus. You can also use something like a Spectre Tenebria or even a Lone Crescent Bellona to really help you out. And if you can build a team around a Navy Captain Landy, that might be pretty fun as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Give me a like so other people just like you can find it as well. Until next time, happy hunting and good luck on your battles.